I think it.
Call this meeting of the Yuma Union High School District Number 70 Governing Board to order. You'll all rise to pledge allegiance, followed by singing silent district follows with
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you all for attending tonight. We appreciate it very much. Moving on, board member reports. Board members may have a discussion about conferences, visitations, legislation, special recognition, donations, etc. Does any board member have anything they would like to bring up? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to superintendent's report. Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, President Townsend, governing board members. My report tonight, I'd like to start off with an update on our first week of being back in person and distance learning. In front of you, there should be some data. First, I'd like to make sure you have that document. It should start with Monday, March 1st, and it goes through Friday, if you can find that. I am so thankful to the campuses and all of the work that went into opening in-person instruction and continuing the work for those families that needed to choose distance learning. It took a lot of leadership. It took some work, a lot of work, and a lot of positive spirit. And there's been nothing but excitement from teachers and administrators. You can see the trends in the attendance data. Thank you to our data team, Elvia Young and Jesus Garcia, for getting this for you. You can see each day, starting March 1st, the total enrollment for each campus, the in-person count, the percentage of in-person, remember that was the choice part of the survey, the distance learning count, and the percentage for each campus for that. And then you can see the trend data for each day after March 1st, and it does go through Friday, March 5th in what we've provided for you. Just a reminder for the Department of Education this year, our attendance is taken the day. So for instance, if Monday is the day, attendance is taken, but with COVID and just needing some flexibilities, there's a permission to go back in the second day and also make sure that attendance is accurate. So teachers are always still living in 2 days and tracking their attendance and doing a fabulous job at that. Families and students are responsible for checking in. Remember, both distance learning and in-person instruction has the same bill schedule and the same expectations for completing coursework, and the teachers are making sure to stay in contact with families and students as necessary. So that is your first week attendance. I also think it's important to notice sometimes we stay in our own head, and I know for me it was really fascinating to see the different campuses and the percentages of people that at different campuses is different, just different thought process, different availability with transportation, different availability of immunization, healthcare. So there are very different percentages of people who chose in-person and people who chose to stay in distance learning. Any questions about that data described?
Well, my one question is not specific to that data, but were there any bus driver shortages during the week?
If there were, it did not come to my level. Went completely through campuses, and I know we have a few principals in the house. Bus issues, Sheila Rich? I see the others are no's. Derek? So nothing came to my level, so usually, well, I live with no news is good news. And again, you know, Ron Sheepers and his team really speaks to the organization, and also the communication to families. I have to say, families have been super respectful of the obstacles, the hurdles, the amount of work that campuses have done on behalf of students, whether it's in person or distance learning. We've really recognized a lot of appreciation. Still some frustration out there, but I just think that's the world in general, right? We want to get back to where we are, but we're one step closer in Yuma Union. The second data set is actually for this evening, and then we're looking forward to tomorrow night. I just want to keep in front of us the total enrollment data and the comparisons. This is a comparison of March 2020 to March 2021. I think it's truly a cause for tremendous celebration in Yuma County and in our high school district, and it speaks to the dedication of each campus, the admin, the teachers, counselors, dropout prevention, basically every single employee, because of the number of phone calls that have had to been made. The difference of the 199 or 191 or whatever it is, you know, while we don't want to lose any student, at one point we were down 400 plus students, and simply phone contact, home visits, even in a pandemic where the uncertainty of the world is all around all of us, we're under 200 students. That is the difference in our years. Each child, each person is going to be very critical for our Somerton High School potential. But you know, living in this moment right now, we're still looking for those other students. We don't stop looking just because we went back in session. But I'm just super proud of the work and just the relentless spirit of making sure that our kids are okay. And where are you? And that continues. So if there's no questions on that, that's the attendance data. Next, I know everybody knows here that I so love my team, but I love especially the fact that they remind me of just making sure that we address the positive nature, the positive spirit. So I'm going to ask Lisa Anderson to speak to an activity that went on in one of our recent leadership team meetings. And I do that because it's an example of the amazing people that we work with and that are committed to our students every day. So Lisa, if you'd like to please share with us tonight.
Thank you. Everyone is aware that last Monday, March 1st, we opened up for in-person instruction. And on Wednesday, March 3rd, we had a district leadership team meeting. We asked our 6 or 7 principals to bring a statement or a quote that reflects what the first day was like on their campus. And so we scripted their quotes, and I'm going to read them to you. So I'm going to start off with Mr. Ware. And Mr. Ware shared with us a story of where he and his admin team and the teachers were out on campus after school and asking students how their day went. That next day, he received a phone call from a parent thanking him that the daughter went home and said, the principal asked me how my day was, and I was so excited, and I'm so excited to return to school on the next day on Wednesday. Mr. Bosch shared a quote that he took from a compassionate principal that he follows on social media, Danny Steele. And the quote is, education isn't a goal, and it isn't a thing that kids attain. It's a process that should give young people hope and a sense of empowerment to create themselves the future they want. Schools will never be defined by the mission statement on the wall. They will be defined by what actually goes on in the classrooms. And that was in relation to the energy and the excitement with the students being back on campus. Mr. Surdine also shared a quote from a student. School is easier in person. Being back in class is working better for them. Again, the positiveness of the students being with their peers and with their teachers. Mr. Sharp shared that the first couple of days felt like a song that you haven't heard in a real long time, that you know the words, the lyrics to, and the beat to, and he said it brought a sense of warmth, peace, and security to the campus. Mr. Arviso shared that there was excitement across the campus. It was as though it was a new day at school. Some students asked where their classes were, a lot of smiles, some were really nervous that the excitement overshadowed everything. His quote for the day was, "Focus on the excitement and it will lead you through the obstacles." And co-principal, Mr. Jankowski, also shared that it was like the first day excitement type of feeling on campus. And lastly, to close the meeting was Superintendent Thompson, and she said, "You all make my heart so full, my pride in working with you so strong, and my why energized. Thank you for all that you do and all you give of yourselves for so many."
So that's an example of what happens, and I think that was even titled Six Wise Men. So I had to insert something. But they are not only wise, they are dedicated, and they lead a tremendous team in each campus. So we know that we are continuing to improve. We are continuing to want to be better every single day. And I am thrilled to say that is that's our first week of what we consider our new year, I guess. So with that, we go into another very positive, exciting time. As we all know, yearly we have the Yuma Rotary Clubs and the Yuma Education Foundation work together to provide a Teacher of the Year awards ceremony and banquet. And for the second year in a row, it will be virtual. And we're excited to have that ahead of us. And Mr. Patton has worked with campuses, and we have a video to share with you this evening so you can get a glimpse of some of the folks that I know you will have great pride in as well.
Growth mindset is someone who wants to keep and wants to have students learn, but they also want to help other adults learn, and that's what we're looking at. They are able to build relationships with adults and our students.
And I want to let you know that we have very talented and awesome faculty staff in this group. And today, I'd like to share with you our teachers of the year, voted by their peers and also their students.
We are extremely proud of all of our teachers. They are extremely dedicated and take countless hours to help support our students every day.
He is constantly thinking outside the box of new ways to reach students. He's constantly thinking of different ways to assess students.
So this is definitely a year to celebrate every single teacher as Teacher of the Year in not only their professional development, but all they've done for for students and families. But we're super proud of this group. They were nominated in different ways, but it's always the biggest honor to be recognized by your campus and by your peers. Would just like to let you know that the full video, complete where you can really hear the principals talk about their teachers, it's on our website. And it's a YouTube, and we ask everybody to like us on YouTube, so that does something to our visuals. And I hope I got that right, Rick. But the whole video is very, very nice, and you can see much more about the teachers themselves. So we're excited to see them again at the virtual banquet, and you'll see all of that media released as well on our social media pages. Next item for superintendent's report is the favorite, right? It is our student council reports. And this will start with Cibola High School.
I'm Taylor Reddick.
And I'm Rebecca Valencia.
Tonight we're going to tell you about the awesome things happening at Cibola High School.
Up first is our community service. Cibola Student Council created and distributed Valentine's care packages to the families staying at the Crossroads Mission. Members were able to visit with families and brighten their day.
Student Council is also currently putting together a virtual version of the Raider Elementary Leadership Conference to be presented to local elementary student councils.
Academically, Cibola students are on fire.
Isabella Olin has been named a National Merit Finalist and a National Hispanic Scholar.
Academic Decathlon had an outstanding showing at the regional meet, which they hosted. The team took second place and had several individual medalists.
Zarina Skari took silver in math.
Renee Mandela took silver in speech and won the best overall prepared speech.
Joaquin Felix took gold in language and literature, silver in social science, bronze in economics, and bronze in art.
Montserrat Quintero Pacheco took gold in science.
Our Raiders are also musically gifted. Kaya for our audition for and was selected for the All-Region Honor Band.
3 mock trial students, Joseph Madrid, Elijah Butler, and Iris Fountain, competed in the iCivics games and took 4th place qualifying for the state tournament.
In the CTE department, all 10 semester 1 nursing students passed their CNA exams. Several are already working as CNAs in the community.
The Mighty Raider athletes are giving impressive performances this year.
The boys soccer team qualified for the AIA state playoffs.
The girls basketball team also qualified for the 6th AIA state tournament. Additionally, they claimed their 4th consecutive Desert Southwest Region Championship.
Cibola has amazing students. We also have amazing faculty.
Mr. Brett Cuddy was selected the outstanding first-year teacher for Cibola.
Ms. Lauren Seibel and Ms. Excel Rodriguez were selected as the Teachers of the Year.
Thank you for your continued support of all the fantastic things happening at Cibola.
That's all for today. Remember, it's a great day to be a Raider.
Fabulous. Thank you, Cibola High School. Second, we will have Peel Ridge High School.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day. I'm Caitlin Jones, the Student Body Historian at Peter Day. And I'm Janelle Armijo, the Student Body Vice President. And here's some quick updates on what's been happening at Peter Day. Starting off, we have our Ultimate Hunts of the Month. For January, our student was Rebecca Sanchez, our athlete was Jeffrey Morago, staff was our paraprofessionals, and the teacher was Miss Francisco. And for February, our Ultimate Hawks were student Valeria Vizcarra Villa, athlete Roberto Dominguez, staff our health office specialist, and teacher Mr. Cox. For the past 6 weeks, Hilo Ridge Pico has been meeting in person every Thursday to work on posters for our seniors and various sports teams. We've also been having weekly takeovers to raise funds for our club. In order to keep in contact and build closer relationships with the other clubs in our school, Student Council has been holding inter-club council meetings where we discuss what each of our clubs has been up to. Senior David Zaragoza is a Flynn National Merit Scholar finalist. It's a very prestigious award and there's only one in Yuma County. Next, we have our Hilo Ridge Teacher of the Year nominees, Ms. Stephanie Stone and Ms. Kayla Semler. Our first year Teacher of the Year nominee is Margaret Julian. Speaking of celebrations, during Council Appreciation Week, our students set up goodies and posters in the guidance office to show our appreciation for everything our counselors do for us. The students at Hilo Ridge have so many talents, and our performing arts programs haven't let anything stop them this year. Our drama club recently put on their own production of 12 Angry Jurors, and our choir did a virtual open mic night. I also wanted to take this opportunity to talk about Avid Wicker. Our CTE department kept their content interesting and engaging by implementing Avid Wicker strategies in their classrooms. And for it, they got a shout-out celebration. And to finish things off, our student council has recently gotten the opportunity to become student links. Student links are students who other students can go to if they have any thoughts of suicide, and we can get them the help that they need. I can speak for my fellow student council members when I say that we're very happy to be able to be a helping hand to our peers.
Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, it's always a great day to be a hawk.
Great, thank you so much. And finally, we'll hear from Vista High School this evening.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Thompson, President Townsend, Associate Superintendent, and members of the board. My name is Aiden Garcia, and I would like to take a moment to share what the Vista Lobos have been doing and want to thank you for your time. Vista Lobos have recognized the Turn 2 credit hunters. Credit hunters are Lobos who have earned 2 or more credits in Turn 2. We have a total of 29 students who earned recognition. Congratulations, credit hunters. Lobos were able to participate in art activities and help create garden labels as a reward for being real, making positive choices, and owning it. Vista would like to recognize Mrs. Melissa Ramirez for being Vista's Teachers of the Year. Ms. Ramirez has partnered with the Yuma County Health Department to form a garden club and has gone above and beyond for her distant learners. Students were participating in community circles and our new lawn. Thank you for your time, and we are always excited to bring what Vista Lobos are doing on campus.
Thank you, Vista High School. And finally, as the last thank you for my superintendent's report this month, I'd like to thank my assistant, Gina Olivas. It's not easy, and it's always a little bit nervous making sure all these videos pop up and they all work. There's a lot of practice that goes into that. Mr. Farr, Mr. Patton, for supporting us with all of our IT, and just this entire district office team, whatever their role, they've made opening school again successful and continue to drive all of us to be better every single day. So I want to thank you and express my gratitude just for being able to be a part of this every day. President Townsend, governing board members, that would end my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. And as always, we very much enjoy our student reports from the schools. Those are always amazing. Moving on, informational items. Premier partner, Arizona Western College, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, and I believe we have some virtual guests with us this evening. Our premier partner has been and continues to be Arizona Western College. Their background, there was some information about the new look, but Dr. Daniel Moore never sits back and lets things just kind of happen. He makes them happen, and if he does, Ashley Harrington is cracking the whip, that's for sure. So we are really, really fortunate to be able to have them with us, joining us tonight to talk about the newest and greatest thing, and again, just to so thankful to have them in Yuma County. So, Dr. Kaur, Ashley, welcome.
Thank you so much, Gina. Just thrilled to be here. And a big shout out to Ashley and Eric, who helped kind of get our PowerPoint. Is Eric going to be able to pop that up for us, Ashley? No? Or am I doing the share on this end?
That's right.
Oh, so I actually have to do what you've walked me through before. Okay, this.
It's only amongst friends and all of YouTube friends.
I'm hopeful that you're seeing the PowerPoint, because I am. Are you guys seeing that?
Yes, it just popped up. Thank you.
You know what? They made it literally one button to push, and I almost blew it. So, but I'm there. So, I am absolutely thrilled to be able to join you here this evening, and the fact that you're there and with masks on and I'm at a distance, just speak to the challenging time that we're all facing and have faced over the past year. I want to start, as we always do, with a reminder of why Arizona Western College exists. And that is through transforming lives through education and partnerships to create thriving communities, the community we all share, the community we all love. And the partnership that I speak of specifically today is the one with Yuma Union High School. From my perch at as the president of Arizona Western College, but I also serve as the vice president of the State Board of Education. And we know the enormous struggles, tension, pressure on the educational system, not just in Yuma, not just in Arizona, but across the nation. And I know just of the amazing efforts going on in Yuma Union High School District to connect with students, to keep them connected, to keep them on track. Just absolutely heroic. I would echo that those similarly heroic efforts are occurring at Arizona Western College. Despite that, though, let's face the reality. Currently, Arizona Western College has 17% decline in enrollment. We have 17% fewer students than we did at this time last year. Our incoming class, and we take great pride in the fact that our yield rate, meaning the number of graduates, the percentage of high school graduates that enter into the community college within 1 year of their graduation, Arizona Western College has had the highest yield rate in the state for all my 5 years at the helm of the college. That has to do with our collaboration, our partnership. But this past year, we had many fewer students enter Arizona Western College after graduating from Yuma Union. We know there's needs, and we can sit back and lament the fact that this is a challenge across the state and across the nation, or we can do something. After a couple of quick phone calls with the feisty superintendent, Thompson, we needed to pull together our leadership. We wanted to find out what could be done instead of focusing on what can't be done or what's not being done, and see how we can together fill the gaps. We saw and felt a sense of urgency to reconnect our community to education, whether that's our high school education or higher ed, because that will create that thriving community referenced in our mission statement. We also knew that we didn't have time, that we needed to pull something together and execute it quickly. And that's exactly what we did. We came up with what we're calling the high school finish line. And simply put, that high school students, all high school students, without qualification, any high school student in Yuma or La Paz County is able to enroll in either the semester that just started this past Monday or throughout the summer, and that they would be able to take classes at Arizona Western College free of charge. No tuition, no fees. If there's a book needed and they can't afford the book, we'll scrape to connect them with the foundation or whatever else. We wanted to reconnect with urgency our community with education. We also knew that for a variety of reasons, despite the heroic efforts of Yuma Union, there may be students who are short a credit or a couple of credits and desperately want to graduate high school. So working with Yuma Union, we said, could it be possible for those college credits earned at AWC be articulated back, almost a reverse articulation to the high school? And again, we found a willing, able, and capable partner in Yuma Union High School. And we want students to connect with their high school counselor, connect with AWC, make sure they're taking the right class, right? Obviously, if you're short an English credit, it has to be an English class you're taking to be articulated back. So we pulled this together quickly, almost immediately, almost overnight. 164 students responded. I don't even think it was up on the website, and we had inquiries pouring in. We've had 40 students. This is a week ago. I wish I had some more complete data or more recent data, but we already had 40 students complete the process. And we've got a website there to refer folks to. We're treating them as a cohort. We're going to provide specialized, almost unavoidable support services to this team. We're going to be reaching out to them, making sure that they're doing all right, that they feel they have the support that they need. They'll have access to tutoring services, other academic resources, both in person and online. If laptop's an issue, we got one for you. And we want to set the stage where success, if you're willing to work for it, is inevitable. The opportunity for success is inevitable to each and one of our students in this community. This is just the latest, what I would describe as kind of a big or bold move on behalf of our partnership, this very special partnership. It was in my exactly third board meeting as a president of Arizona Western College that I proposed to our district governing board, reducing the tuition for high school students under the age of 18 to $25 a credit hour. They passed that, and we've seen the number of young folks enrolled at AWC simply skyrocket to tens of thousands of credits earned annually by students in high school. Then we followed that up with the Yuma promise that said every graduate from Yuma Union High School, if they enroll at AWC and maintain full-time enrollment, because we want to incentivize that full-time enrollment, that 100% of their and apply for the FAFSA, I forgot to add that, but 100% of out-of-pocket fees and tuition and fees will be refunded to you upon earning a college degree. The growth has been amazing. Last year alone, we had a 106% increase in the number of students earning dual credit. This is on top of 40 or 50% the year before and 30 or 40% the year before. So the high school finish line is just kind of the latest partnership that says to our community, college is for you. We're going to help you get there. We're going to provide you the support that you need. And together, in partnership, we will in fact create the thriving community that our mission statement speaks to. And I'm going to call a copyright lawyer because I think I heard Gila Ridge say it's a great day to be a hawk. I beg to differ. I know we're here for students, but it is a great day to be a matador. And with that, I would share one last data point that I think, a couple of data points that I'd like certainly the board to know. This past year, in the middle of a pandemic, Arizona Western College awarded the most associate degrees ever in our history. In fact, 20% more than the top year prior to that. Last year, we transferred more of our graduates onto the 3 state universities than ever in the 57-year history of the college. And those graduates earned baccalaureate degrees at the highest rate, the single largest number ever in the history of the college. This speaks to the partnership that we started years ago, was accelerated by the $25 an hour credit hour, was accelerated by the Yuma promise. This finish line is our latest effort in partnership to serve this community and make sure that college is in everyone's future and a degree is facilitated. So it really is a pleasure to be here with you, even if it is virtually. We're celebrating my mother-in-law's 75th birthday, so I am not even in Yuma, and we're going to have some cake here in a little bit, but I didn't want to miss an opportunity to visit with you this evening. So with that, I'll pause and see if there might be any questions, comments, or concerns.
Any more questions? Laura?
No, I'm good.
I guess you did a great job, Dr. Ford. No questions, so, but thank you very much. That's tremendous numbers. We appreciate our partnership.
I appreciate it. And good luck to y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you to her. Very exciting, and I want to thank Lisa Anderson and her team for working with the Arizona Western College team to make this all happen. We know that sometimes kids don't take home all the information to parents, so we're also working with Arizona Western College to really reach out to parents. We know that at the college level, they're not always used to reaching out to parents because that's a different role for them. So we learn from one another and we continue to support one another. But Yuma County is making a name also in that respect with the partnership that we have with Arizona Western College. And we're very proud of that.
Okay, moving on. Junior ROTC COFA High School project completion, Mrs. Thompson and Mrs. Honeycutt.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Mrs. Honeycutt to come forward with her very esteemed guests and introduce them all, and she's just gonna share some fun stuff again.
I do have a great team to assist me, Mr. Norm Champagne, Major Bernie, and Sergeant Major Larman. We're going to tell you a little bit about one of the projects that we just finished. So Yuma Union High School District CTE focuses on innovative career and technical education programs that prepare students with the advanced skills necessary to enter the workforce and pursue continuing education. With the training students receive in our state-of-the-art industry labs, students are better equipped to participate more fully in our community and in the economy. Since the 2017-2018 school year, we have now completed 26 CTE lab improvements and renovations. Today, we're celebrating the Marine Corps JROTC Performance and Parade Field. And I think I have a little button here, right? There we go. Every 2 years, the Yuma Union High School District Executive Cabinet reviews potential CTE lab renovations submitted by the campus principals and CTE instructional leaders. The Marine Corps JROTC project was Copa High School's #1 proposed submission in February of 2019. Based on the scope of the project submitted by the campuses, Jay Munoz, the Executive Director of Facilities, and I prioritized the projects selected. COFA started the design phase of their project in April 2020, right after the pandemic started. Fortunately, the pandemic and school closure did not negatively impact our ability to telecommunicate and keep the project going. We were very fortunate to have a dedicated team who ensured the project would be completed for the return of students this March. Norm Champagne, the CTE instructional leader from COFA, will provide more detailed information about the COFA project.
Good evening. The project is in the northwest corner of campus, which has at various times been an animal pen, a land lab, a greenhouse, a construction yard, a storage site, and always a retention basin. The scope of the project was to transform the site to a performance field for the Marine Corps Junior ROTC team students while accommodating drainage from as far away as 4th Avenue. The anticipated cost was $450,000, with the actual cost adding about 8% to that total. COFA administration and COFA CTE agreed to spend campus funds on the overage to ensure the project was completed with no additional needs. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. It was close. The additional funds helped cover the cost of the additional bleacher system, a PA system for events, security cameras to protect the investment, as well as painting the interior lab spaces and exterior of the existing building. About those additional needs, we missed one thing, me. As we were having artificial grass installed, we saw no need to have a, say, hose bed anywhere on the field, and it's awful hard to wash those bleachers now when there's no hose bed down there, but we're this close. Sergeant Major.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sergeant Major Larman. I don't want to do the wrong button here. Okay, as you can see, when I got to Copa High School in 2014-15, this is what we had to take the students out on. We could go over to the activity fields, but they were also shared with the other students, and sometimes the baseball fields were up or whatever, so we didn't always have all the room we needed. So we took the students out here. I took the drill team, the PT teams, and the regular classes out daily, and what we had to do to this lot was we took our students and they actually raked it almost weekly so that we could get the rocks out, because students were twisting their ankles slightly when they would be out there training and stuff. As you can see, we had everything stored out there. We even moved as much as we could out to the corners using the students to do this. They actually enjoyed the work, but each time we went out to go do drill or PT, as their feet were moving, of course, on really hot days, the dust was just killing them. I began asking, how could I get some grass in there, just some grass seed or water? In 2018, we came under CTE. Mr. Champagne helped and got us incorporated into CTE. And At that time, he came out and asked the wrong question. Hey, Sergeant Major, what can we do to help you? And then Major Bernie came on deck at that time, and we both began to get with Mr. Champagne. He said, if you had something you could fix out of this, what would you do? And I said, the perfect thing would be an artificial turf field for our training. And we came up with this drawing right here, center field, 100 by 120. Bleachers on one side for families to sit and watch the event, so we could do a lot of our events on it. And they added a couple of other nice things in there to help us out, and an area on the opposite side where we could put in more bleachers if we needed to.
Good evening, Major Bernie here. All right, I get to brief the fun part. Sergeant Major was here for the bulk of the dirt lot. So when I came on board, gosh, it's been 3 years already. Can't believe how time flies. So thankfully, Miss Lori and Norm came to us and said, what do you want? You got to see our beautiful drawing. That was our great PowerPoint. They said, hey, you're way out to lunch. So think bigger. And this is the start of that thinking bigger. And as you can see, I mean, just in those photos right there, the improvement from what we had before. There we go. We got some more cement work going on. There's cement everywhere now. It is amazing. And Miss Gina got to come down and enjoy the beautiful field. As you can see, they're laying it there. And now, this is what we do. So, as Sergeant Major was saying, we are utilizing this 4 days a week. So, we are not, we're just not letting it be pretty out there and say, hey, look at that field, isn't that beautiful? We are actually utilizing it from PT at 06, which we've started, and to drill, to uniform inspections, and to classroom PT. So we are using it every day. Rain, sun, I don't think it rains that much, so we haven't hit that one yet. But we are out there and we're utilizing it, so we thank you very much. You can't see the huge smile on my mask, or Sergeant Major's. He's ecstatic. The kids are ecstatic. They are happy to be back to school, so I'll reiterate what some of the principals were saying. Phenomenal. We're getting increased numbers like every day this week. And part of it is because of this field, because they're telling their buddies, or they're seeing it on Facebook or Instagram that our cadets are posting. They're like, look at this. And more people are starting to come out and enjoy the field. So thank you very much. We deeply appreciate it. I think I'll leave you with some motivation here. There's one. Will it play there? Will it play?
It should.
Okay. Oh, I have to credit our AD for this.
station for the facility for the things that train on the air station. So it's the sport quality, and it works fantastic for us.
Mr. Gonzalez had a question.
Yeah, I just wanna thank you guys, it's a state-of-the-art facility, that's, I had the pleasure to be there as well. When, there's a tons of walk the turf barefooted. And it's a great, training facility, and, because it's doing a good job, so it's a good project, so, like,
Any other board member comments?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's tremendous. We're very proud of you guys and the work you're doing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on, budget update, overview of the 2020-2021 Yuma Union High School internal budget. And item 3.3.1, dollars in the classroom. Ms. Corbery, it's your turn.
Alrighty, good evening. So for our M&O this year, or for this month, we have spent 51% of our M&O for a total of $41 million of our $80 million budget. For our capital, we have spent right at $200,000 of our $12.5 million budget, or representing 2% of our budget. We had our report that came out from the Auditor General for our dollars in the classroom, and that report is based off of our last fiscal year. So that's not current information, that's our last fiscal year that we just got our audit done on. And so our financial reporting for that, I just kind of wanted to highlight a few things because I think there's a lot of things to celebrate on this report. You can see that we've spent 50.5% of our funding on instruction. That is lower than our peer average of 54.7%, but let me remind you that we do carry over a significant amount in anticipation of Summerton School coming on board. So we do have money set aside for operational costs for Summerton that aren't being fully spent every year. So that will, once we have Summerton on board, that number will see that increase on an annual basis. Stepping back just a little bit, our comparison group is actually 6 union high school districts and, 6 unified school districts and 4 union. Those include Higley, Marana, Amphitheater, Sunnyside, Vale, Flagstaff, Glendale Union, Tolleson Union, Tempe Union, and then us. So when I'm giving you these numbers, that's what we're being compared to. As also a reminder, when I'm talking about the instruction, the 50.5%, that is an increase of $230 over last year per student. So we are continuing to grow and to spend money and get that percentage up. Of course, it can always be more. Our admin costs are comparable, according to this, and our peers, but below state average. And what that basically tells me is per student, when we look at that per student, our admin, we have, let me get this right, we have more staff for less cost. So it just verifies what we know. We have a team that's working very hard for our students, and compared to other school districts, we're starting to see that. And then our plant is comparable, but however, let me point out that our square footage per student is low, and it indicates that we are maintaining more space per student at the same cost as our peers. So cost, everything being equal, we still have more square footage that we're taking care of and maintaining per student. Our food service cost per meal is lower than our peers, but more than the state average. So we continue to work on that and find ways to have some savings and improve that number as well. Our transportation costs, our cost per mile is considered high, but keep in mind that the mileage, the square miles that we cover are very different than those school districts that I mentioned. So we would expect that to be a little higher. And then the cost per rider is comparable. When we move down to the middle of the right-hand side of this report, you'll see COVID-19 federal relief grant spending. You've heard many times me talk about the grants that we're working on. We do continue to work. We still haven't heard anything from Yuma. We still haven't seen any money for that. But we did get the request from our state saying, hey, okay, we have all this money that we're giving to the states. We're not seeing the schools request funding, so we obliged. We did that. And you can see we have requested $1.8 million compared to $555,000 of our peers for last fiscal year. So we've done our part of that. And then the really, really exciting part is the next section, the average teacher salary. So I'm going to give you a little bit of, to kind of put it in context, you can see that our average teacher salary as of last year was $56,500. So to kind of give you where we stand in the state and where we stand in Yuma County, for us, that's an increase over the last 4 years of $6,161. But when I compare the feeder districts in Yuma County, that ranges between $47,396 and $52,257. So the next highest is $52,000 and we're at $56,000. So all the raises that you guys have approved are being frugal with money. We're starting to see some improvement. As we look at that in our comparison group, so those school districts that I had told you about, the other 9, we compare that, the average of those schools is $54,763. But let me tell you, when you look at the range, the lowest is $45,700, but the highest is $73,828. So, of course, we are not going to compare with that. We would love to. We'd love to compete with that. But when you add that average together, that raises the whole group to the 54,000. I think without that one in there, it would be much lower. And then the next thing to celebrate is the Prop 301. So as we look at the Prop 301, we pride ourselves in our Prop 301 committee when we meet because we do our best to try and get those funds into the hands of our teachers and the counselors and the people that qualify for that funding. And we work really hard to do that. And as you can see, we last year paid our teachers $11,754. Now, to put that in context, our feeder schools average $6,685. And our comparison schools, $8,054. We're doing something right. We're getting money where it needs to be, and not using it on other things. I'm not judging those other school districts. When you have costs and you need to pay for it, you need to pay for it. But we planned for that. That's why we take it out of our salary schedule, which is much different than some of our other competitive schools. But there's a reason to do that because we can take that money that's in the bank right then and spread it over our teachers. That's why we see $11,000. Any questions? Anything I can answer?
I have a question.
Okay.
First of all, thank you. You always make sense to numbers when you don't make sense.
Just tell everybody out there that I always make sense.
You make sense.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, moving on from that. It appears that we beat, and it's not a competition or anything, but it appears like we manage our money in a really wonderful way. And if I look at all these numbers, I came back with a question in my head, which I'm hoping you can explain. If we are better than the state average in almost everything, how come our per pupil spending is lower?
Again, because we have $19 million in operational costs that we're carrying over every year, so we're not spending that money. We're not fully spending all of our entire budget every year. We're holding it back because we have salaries, things like that, that we're reserving for Somerton High School when it comes on board. So if we had Somerton in place right now, we wouldn't be holding those funds back. We would be spending them on an annual basis. So when we take $5 million out of our budget, we would add that back into our classroom teachers and things like that. Our number would go up.
So our
we will see
district,
that.
so just to rephrase it, our district is sacrificing to help us get a high school in Somerton.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're
How
certainly
do we
making
translate that to other
choices.
Right.
We're making choices.
I would prefer to say our district is preparing for
Right.
bringing Somerset High School online rather than sacrificing. I think we're just preparing for that.
Well, if it will help the SFB move forward, I'd love to sacrifice.
Also, I'm going to comment, that sounds like about a 33% teacher increase in the last 3 years.
I think it's 4 years, but yes.
4 years.
Yes.
So a 33% teacher increase in salaries. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yes.
Because I was just reading this week where some districts are being criticized because they were not met the 20 by 2020, and we've increased it by over 50%.
We took that challenge very seriously.
I just wanted that for the record. Any other questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, Mr. Gonzalez.
Diane, under the capital outlay budget in the Sunrise High School, for the budget item is 121,361, and then the expenditures is 21,790, but there's a 0% in previous month, then an 18% in the current month.
Correct. Correct, last month you had asked me if that number truly was 0, and then they had spending this last month, and now they have spent 18%. So the 21,000 represents 18% of the 121,000.
And also under contingency, there's a 0% on that?
Correct, so $5,553 are expenditures. So when you divide that into $10.1 million, it's such a small fraction, it comes up as 0.
That's right.
The dollar amounts are the actual, so that you can rely on the percentages. We just don't carry out that many decimal points.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, next item is first read of policy GCCH, professional support staff agreement leave. It was in your packet as a first read. And we just have to have that so on for public comment. Moving on, call to the public. Any person wishing to speak may present the information at this time only. All presentations are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes and a maximum of 15 minutes on each subject. Before you begin to speak, please identify yourself by clearly stating for the record your name. Comments by members of the governing board in response to any public comment will be limited to asking staff to review the matter or requesting rescheduling of the matter for future further consideration at a later date. I didn't receive any cards. Is there anybody who would like to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on. Item 5, consent items. Adoption of items of routine nature and those that normally do not require deliberations on the part of the governing board. A board member may pull items which will be discussed and voted on separately. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Kravitz and seconded by Mr. Gonzalez to approve the consent items as presented. We'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Ms. Mellon.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lara?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend's aye. So it's unanimous approval of consent items. Let me get to the right. It's here. It's a big skip. Okay, moving on to the action items. Considerations to accept donations. I will read the donations. Cibola High School donors choose donated a Dell 23-inch LED.
Mr. Townsend, I think you skipped them. Are you on 6.1?
6.1, consideration.
To 5.3 or 4?
Those are all.
Oh, they're all in the minutes?
Those are all the consent items.
Thank you.
Okay. Consideration to accept donations. Cibola High School donors choose donated a Dell 23-inch LED HD monitor and NXT Technologies HDMI cable to Ms. Ward's classroom at Cibola High School Math. Estimated value of the donation is $200. To Gila Ridge High School, Pastor Scott Little, Stone Ridge Church donated lotion to all Gila Ridge High School classroom teachers to have available for all students to help with the frequent hand washing. Estimated value of the donation is $637. Ms. Cammie Reichman donated $9.70 to the Gila Ridge High School to be used as needed for the school. Kofa High School King's Regiment Band Boosters donated $12,756.37 to cover the cost for each marching band uniforms for Kofa High School. To Vista High School, Mr. Serwang donated 2 boxes of Frito-Lay assorted chips to Vista High School to be used for the positive behavior interventions and supporters program as rewards to students. Estimated value of the donation is $32. To Yuma High School, the Lady Chain Gang Booster Club donated 10 home and 10 away jerseys to the Yuma High School girls varsity basketball program. Estimated value of the donation is $500. It is recommended that the governing board accept the above listed donations. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Lotta to consider accept the donations. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lotta?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend? Aye. And you approved unanimously. I know this is tedious, but it's recommended by the attorney now, so do roll call votes. So sorry about that. Consideration to approve open enrollment capacity for 2021-2022. It is recommended the governing board approve the open enrollment capacity as listed for the 2021-2022 school year. Ms. Thompson, Mr. Branson, do you have anything to add to that before we proceed?
I personally don't, the data is in the background information. Mr. Brianza, do you have any additional information?
Just that the way the capacity is calculated for each school year, the team, student information team, works with looking at projected graduates, incoming freshman class from the demographers, and what the return rate is for the current freshman, sophomore, juniors who will roll into sophomore, junior, seniors next year to come up with numbers for the recommended open enrollment capacity. So I don't know if anyone has any questions.
My question is it similar to years past, or is it just different?
The way we calculate is exactly the same in years past.
And the data, is it the same?
The data changes every year based upon the size of graduation class, size of incoming freshmen, and also our school population that's projected to return every year.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the open enrollment capacity listed for the 2021-2022 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Lara, to approve the open enrollment capacity as listed for the 2021-2022 school year. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lara?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend's aye. Unanimous approved. Thank you. Moving on, consideration to approve the Yuma Union High School District course description guide, including CTE course and fees. It is recommended that the governing board approve the 2021-2022 Yuma Union High School District course subscription guide, including CTEs. Is there a motion?
I'll make nobody said, I'll make the motion that we approve course subscription guide, including CTE and course fees.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lara and second by Mr. Kravitz to approve the 2021-22 Yuma Union High School District course subscription guide, including CTE. Ms. Thompson, Ms. Anderson, anything you want to add to this?
This is a yearly event to bring before you, and a lot of reading, I know. Thank you for looking through that. We're very proud of our description, and noticed also there are no changes to fees for the 2021-22 school year. There's a new CTE program that is specifically noted, cloud computing, that's on page 56. So we have a very robust curriculum, and it's all noted in all of the course descriptions. And thank you to the team that continues to keep that organized, clear, and takes everything through the Arizona Board of Regents for that whole process. There's a lot involved in those pages. Ms. Anderson, do you have anything else that you want to make sure to highlight?
This is work that starts in October. It includes Mr. Brooks, Chief Academic Officer, and all of the content leaders at the 6 high schools, along with counselors, CTE department, Lori Honeycutt and her team, my admin assistant, Brenda Higuera, LBA Young, research and data analyst, and Charlotte Stevenson, our project manager. So it's really a team effort. And this will be available on the Yuma Union website tomorrow for families and students.
Any questions or discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Carroll.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with the microphone. The graduation requirements, have those changed from previous years? It's the same, correct? And so really the only big difference is the additional CTE program. Okay, thank you. Just making sure. It was a very long document.
Any other questions or comments?
Appreciate it, but.
If there's no other questions or comments, we'll proceed to vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lara?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend, aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on. Okay. 6.4, consideration to approve the intergovernmental agreement regarding joint facility use at Yuma Union High School District 78 in the city of San Luis recreational facilities. It is recommended that the governing board approve the intergovernmental agreement between Yuma Union High School District and the city of San Luis. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the intergovernmental agreement between Yuma Union High School District and the city of San Luis. Second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Mellon, second by Ms. Kravitz, to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Yuma Union High School District and the city of San Luis. Is there any questions or discussion?
Is there any changes in the agreement now for this year?
Yes, and I would ask Mr. Brianza, who is the one that does this work directly, if you would like to comment.
Yeah, there are numerous changes. The previous agreement actually expired, ran its course, in February. And we've been working on this for about 6 months with the city of San Luis. It's very similar to the city, when we have with the city of Yuma. The one big change on this one is on the previous agreement, there was the use of the soccer field and track, and the lights were actually funded or paid by the city of San Luis. And at the termination of that, or the expiration of that IGA, then it called for us to purchase the lights from the city of San Luis, which we're in the process of doing.
The actual lights?
The actual lights, because they're on our property. So since any capital improvements made to it were called out in the previous IGA, that the school district would have to pay for that. So that's one area we've been working on. We negotiated a price that both sides agreed upon, and they still have warranty on them, so it's a win-win for us in that situation. But that's the big major change, but also it's closely aligned to the one we have with the city of Yuma. So our campuses, whoever is working on whatever campus, it's very similar. So there's not a lot of strange nuances.
Any other questions or comments? Proceed to vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lara?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend is an aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, item 6.5, consideration to approve the 2021-2022 student parent handbook. It is recommended the governing board approve the 2021-22 student handbook. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the 2021-2022 student handbook.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Kravitz, second by Mr. Lara, to approve the 2021-22 student handbook. Ms. Thompson, Mr. Brianza, anything you want to add?
President Townsend, governing board, this is also a yearly activity for approval, but in certain years it's even more work than others. So I would like to thank Mr. Brianza for being the lead on that and ask if you have any comments to.
Last year was the year that we did a deep dive and made some vast changes, had student committees on each campus, and they all came forward as a larger group. We had a couple different board members participating in that, and the governing board approved that. But this one was more date changes, calendar changes, maybe some typos that 15 sets of eyes didn't catch the first time. So it's basically very similar to the handbook from last year.
Any questions or comments? We'll proceed to vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lara?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend is aye. Motion carries unanimously. 6.6, consideration to approve the 2021-2022 compensation package. It is recommended that the governing board approve the employee compensation package for the 2021-22 school year, including placement salary schedules, supplementary salary schedules, and benefits. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the employee compensation package for the 2021-2022 school year, including placement salary schedules, supplemental salary schedules, and benefits.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Bowen, seconded by Ms. Kravitz. Ms. Thompson, is there anything you or anyone else would like to add?
President Townsend, Governing Board, this is also a living document that we bring back to you at various times of the year. Ms. Porter, if you'd like to speak to the changes in this particular or amendments in this particular version.
Okay, I will just highlight the changes that we have from the current year. We are happy to be recommending a 5% increase for all of our employee groups across the board. So that is our classified staff, our certified staff, our administrators, and our term employees, all 5% equally. We'll continue with the $750 benefit that's paid right before Christmas, which is our Prop 123 that was passed several years ago. This package includes approximately, it varies by cell, but approximately a 4% increase for our entry-level positions. So for our starting teachers or starting classified staff, they'll enjoy a 4% increase of what we had from last year. And then when our new employees come on, and our certificated folks in the past have received $50 for the first 5 years of experience and $200 for the 7 years after the initial 5. So we're increasing that to $75 and $225. And for our classified staff, in the past we have seen 3 cents for the first 5 years and 5 cents for the 7 years after that. We're increasing that to 5 and 7 cents per hour. The other major change that you will see in here is we have addressed our 6/5. So when we have a teacher that goes above and beyond their normal teaching contract and they're going to take on another class, so they're basically selling their planning period so that they can teach an additional class. We call that a 6/5. And so we'll be increasing that amount as well. That will increase to $8,200, I believe. $8,200, right? Yes, $8,200. And the way that we come up with that is we take the new teaching salary and divide that by 5. And so every year as we give an increase, that's where we get that dollar amount. And then the final change that you will see is the hourly rate for our teaching staff for as long as I can remember, which is forever. It has been $25 for our hourly pay for teachers. So we have taken the opportunity to request tonight from you to increase that to $35 an hour for our teaching. So that's any tutoring that they do or any training that they do, things like that. Hourly work would be at $35 an hour. I'm pleased to say that our insurance, our health insurance, thanks to our COVID funding, that we've been able to cover some of the costs because we've been hit pretty substantial with all of the testing and vaccines. We've been able to cover that through our COVID grants that we've received. And as a result of that, our insurance is able to maintain and stay the same rate at this point. So we'll see no increase for that as well. And again, that's 100% coverage for all of our employees. Those are our recommendations for tonight.
Any questions? Mr. Gonzalez?
On the under the 9-month employees, 10-month employees, and 12-month employees, I noticed that at the bottom in the days that for the work schedule, the 9, 10, 12-month employees, you got half of spring break. What is that mean?
So our district observes a week of spring break, and some of our staff, such as the 12-month, they receive half of that off paid, as paid time off, and the other half they either work or they have the option of taking vacation time.
So they have a choice to either get the whole spring break or just half of it?
Yes, but if they do take the whole spring break, then they're charged for half of that towards their vacation time.
Oh. Is there another reason why the 10th and the 9th employees don't have that?
It was negotiated a long time ago, back with the employee groups, to have that. Our 9-month is based only on school days. Their work schedule is based on 9 days, and the 10-month actually get that paid the whole week.
Okay.
Any other questions? Ms. Kravitz?
My question is in regards to the raise, which I'm so grateful and actually really thrilled that we're able to do. You mentioned the increase at the starting level for everything. The only group that I didn't hear you say was administrators. So if there's a new administrator, they also get that bump?
So everybody gets the 5%, all employees. We did the 4% for the entry level, so for everybody on that salary schedule. So I'm not sure which one you're asking me about, but yes, it does include everybody.
Okay, well, you
In both cases.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? We'll proceed to vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lotta?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend is an aye. Motion carries unanimously.
President Johnson, if I may.
Yes.
I just want to publicly thank the governing board for not only your constant and continued leadership, but support financially. I am forever grateful, but I also recognize so many teachers and administrators and support staff that have come forward and said to me, thank you for honoring pay throughout this pandemic, even at a time when nobody knew what was around the corner. I've also received calls and thank yous and emails for the continued increase in salary. So our staff does appreciate that. But I also want to publicly state that because of that leadership and that belief that as the superintendent, I expect us to rise to that occasion and continue to knock it out of the park professionally and be the very best at the delivery methods. We will always be forever learning, we will forever be improving, but we don't take our position in Yuma County for granted. So thank you, and it just makes me personally want to work harder for the students in our district in Yuma County. But thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Moving on, item 6.7, it is recommended the governing board approve the recommendation of non-renewals for teacher Jerry Girak for the 2021-22 school year. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the recommendation of the non-renewal of teacher Jerry Girak for the 2021-2022 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Bowen, second by Mr. Lotta. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lotta?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend's aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 6.8, possible action to non-renewal teacher Mary Mills for the 2021-22 school year. It is recommended that the governing board approve the recommendation of non-renewal of teacher Mary Mills for the 2021-22 school year. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the recommendation of non-renewal of teacher Mary Mills for 2021-2022 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Kravitz, second by Mr. Lotta, to approve the recommendation of non-renewal of teacher Mary Mills for the 2021-22 school year. Is there any discussion? All in favor, or excuse me, Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lotta?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend's aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 6.9, possible action to non-renew Carrie Slater for the 2021-22 school year. It is recommended the governing board approve the recommendation of non-renewal of teacher Carrie Slater for the 2021-22 school year. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Lotta. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lotta?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend's aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 6.10, it is possible action to non-renew classified term employee Dolores Leon for the 2021-22 school year. It is recommended the governing board approve the recommendation of non-renewal of classified term employee Dolores Leon for the 2021-22 school year. Is there any discussion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the recommendation of non-renewal of classified term employee Dolores Leon for the 2021-2022 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Mellon, second by Mr. Gonzalez, to approve the recommendation of non-renewal of classified term employee Dolores Leon for the 2021-22 school year. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Ms. Mellon?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Lara?
Aye.
Ms. Kravitz?
Aye.
Mr. Townsend's aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next meeting of the board is a study session here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And then the regular meeting is April 14th, 2021, here at 5:15. Is there a motion to adjourn? It looks like we have papers to sign.
No, I have packets for you to take.
Okay. Motion to adjourn? We're gonna do this, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, Mr. Law is opposed.
I gotta keep this.
We are adjourned. Thank you.